Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I do not make any warranties to its accuracy, applicability, or completeness. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice. Always seek the advice of a qualified health provider. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of any information presented here. I disclaim all liability to any party for direct, indirect, implied, punitive, special, incidental, or other consequential damages arising directly or indirectly from its use. Hey guys, Paul here with my contest prep progress updates. I'm going to do these weekly. This is the first week of contest prep, getting ready to get started. I am 16 weeks out from the show. We'll see how things go this year. I'm trying to hang on to some size. I over-dieted last year and got too small at the end. We can try to avoid that mistake this year. We'll dig into all this. Before we do so, please take the time to subscribe to my channel. It's the best way you can show your appreciation for all this awesome content I am putting out. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you have questions or comments, put them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer each and every one of them. If you want to get in contact with me, you can do so by reaching out at Paul K. Barnett on Instagram, or you can email me at bigp3rd@gmail.com. My contact information is in the video description. Okay, so 16 weeks out. Show is June 11th. I'm going to do as long as everything goes well, I'm going to do the DC Pro-Am here in Washington, D.C. And then the plan is to see how that goes and then potentially do Masters Nationals. I don't know. Well, we'll see. This is just a hobby for me, so if I'm feeling fried at the end, I'm feeling like shit, I'm not going to do another the Masters Nationals is 4 weeks after this show. I'm not going to hang on for another 4 weeks if I feel like shit. So this is just something I do for fun. I have no aspirations beyond just, something I do for enjoyment, for my own enjoyment. So current vitals and health. Went over my post blast blood work the other day. I've been on cruise for about 8 weeks now. Pretty much have just held on to whatever I'd had. I didn't really lose anything from the cruise, maybe a little fullness. But I've just been cruising, for the last 8 weeks. Right now, my fasted weight is 265. It has not budged over the last 8 weeks. I have stayed right at 264, 265. My daytime weight's right around 270, 271, 272, depending on, water I'm holding that day. But let's just say 270-ish. I get a lot of guys reaching out to me that don't believe that I'm just cruising on 250 milligrams of test and able to hold on to size. I don't know what to tell you. If you eat food and you don't train like a pussy, you can hang on to size. It's not that hard to hang on to size. In my experience, I think what happens is dudes come off the high doses of androgens and they lose that aggression and they feel like shit. They don't want to train aggressively and they just kind of stop eating. They stop eating properly and they just stop training with any kind of intensity or just don't fucking train at all. I just keep going. You do lose a little bit at the beginning of a cruise. You feel, I don't know, you just feel unmotivated. It usually hits after a couple weeks. And then things kind of bounce back. This has been my experience. And then it's funny because my strength has actually gotten a little better while I've been on cruise. Go figure that one out. But you can see in the pictures, I've lost a little bit of fullness. Nothing crazy. But the weight has, maybe my body composition is a tad worse than it was when I was, but for the most part, everything's pretty much the same. Right now my resting pulse is around 65. My blood pressure, when I check it, is, it's always in the 120 over 70-ish range. I do take an ARB for the blood pressure and a calcium channel blocker. I'm very cautious with my blood pressure. My fasted glucose is 119. Was the other day, the last I checked it. It's been running high. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know if I'm turning into a diabetic or if I've just worn out my welcome with eating the high carbs for a while. Maybe it's time to pull back with the pre-contest. Hopefully that will go back. My A1C was high on my blood work, so hopefully that will adjust itself back down. diabetes runs in my family, and I've had some issues with it in the past, so I don't want to go into detail about it, but blood sugar control is always a struggle with me. My O2 is 99. My hematocrit, according to my blood work, was 51, so it was up a bit. But I have a hemoglobin meter I use at home, and I mentioned it in my blood work video. Hemoglobin is all over the place, and it's largely related to hydration. I'll check it in the morning, and it'll be a tad high, 50, 51. And then I check it at like 2, 3 in the afternoon, and it'll be 47. So I don't know. I don't know how much I would read into the hemoglobin readings. I don't know, unless you're starting to get headaches and feel sluggish and stuff, then maybe. But I'm not worried about 51. But I've been sleeping great since I've been on cruise. I always sleep well when I'm on cruise. Contest prep is when I don't sleep, especially the last half of it. 8 hours for me is great. I'm not normally an 8 hours kind of a night kind of guy. I'm usually more like a 5 or 6 hour kind of guy. I don't know. I have an active brain, and gears are constantly turning. So I wake up. Appetite, average to below average. You get to a point in the off season where you're ready to diet. You're kind of tired of eating fucking chicken and rice until you feel like you're going to throw it up. I am at that point right now. I'm done with it. How I'm feeling physically, my shoulder's fucked up. I need surgery. I went to the doctor, had them check it out, the orthopedic, and they said I have a torn labrum. I'm going to try to get through the contest prep with the torn labrum. He said it's not that bad, but it occasionally pops out of socket, which is unpleasant. But as long as I'm careful with the exercises that do that, which seem to be anything that's vertical pulling, so like pull-ups. I popped it on pull-ups of all things. So weird. It's in the back of my shoulder where the labrum tear is, and occasionally my shoulder will just start to pop out of socket, or sometimes will completely pop out of socket. Otherwise, it's not painful. So I don't know. I have pretty high pain tolerance. I'm just going to rock on and see what happens. If it gets to the point where I can't train, then I'll cancel contest prep and go get surgery done. For right now, I feel like I can gut through it. So I'm going to try to gut through it for right now, and then I'll deal with it this fall, get surgery done if I need it. Progress pics is where I'm at right now. I don't know what to say. I'm big and bloated. These pics were actually from last weekend. I didn't put today's pics up because I'm lazy to put them in thing, but I really don't look any different than I did last week. But pretty much this is where I'm at right now. I don't know what my body fat is. Who the fuck knows? Who cares? I don't really care. That's what the pictures look like. So I'm big, full, bloated right now. I don't have a visible gut, but, I'm definitely, carrying some extra weight right now. So this is where I'm at. It's not pretty at the end of the off season, but, you usually about 10 weeks out, 8 weeks out, it's like, boom, it like clicks for me for some reason. That's when I go from looking like just some dude that lifts weights to looking like a bodybuilder. Current supplements. I put a video up detailing my my pre-contest cycle. That's not set in stone, by the way, guys. That's just kind of what the plan, the outline of the plan is. Things are subject to change depending on how my body reacts. Doses can go up or down. Could use different compounds, start later, start sooner with certain compounds. But for the most part, that's a rough outline of what I'm going to do. I have another video up if you want to check it out that goes into complete detail of my entire pre-contest cycle protocol that I usually use. So I increased the test from the cruise from 250 milligrams to 500 a week. I added in 200 milligrams a week of primobolan to start off, and added in 100 milligrams of NPP per week. I ramp up. So I'll start that up, and I'll work that up to, I don't know, over the next couple weeks, like 1.5 grams, 1.3 grams, something like that, in the next month. Peak dosages by the end of the contest prep are around 2.3 grams, so we'll push it up there. No aromatase inhibitor yet. I'll probably add one next week. We'll see. Increase the GH from 4 units to 6 units. 1,000 milligrams of metformin per day. I may double that. I may take that up to 2,000 to just get my blood glucose back under control. It also helps with body composition. Anybody who's never used metformin, it helps with appetite suppression, and it also will improve body composition in my experience. 1,000 milligrams of berberine a day. That's for blood sugar control. X-Force for blood pressure. That's the one I told you about that has the ARB, losartan, in it, and it also has a calcium channel blocker. I use Humalog on high days as needed, and I'm taking 25 units of Lantus every day pre-bed. Current diet, 16 weeks out. This is going to be the diet for next week. We usually, what we'll do is ratchet it down a little bit every week. Just drop a little bit every week. Keep progressing. I am doing 1 low day a week. I train 6 days a week. So on the low day, I am doing 300 grams of protein, 270 grams of carbs, 48 grams of fat. And that is added fat. That's not counting the fat in my meat. I eat protein sources that are as low as fat as possible. I see a lot of guys send me their diets and they're eating like these protein sources that are high in fat. I'm talking about I eat 99% chicken breast. I'll eat maybe 1 serving of 95% lean ground beef per day, white fish, things like that. But mostly my diet is white fish, chicken breast, and 1 serving of lean ground beef, the leanest ground beef I can find per day. That's typically what my protein is. So that amounts to about, I don't know, 2,800 or 20, yeah, about 20, no, yeah, 20, almost 2,900 calories. Somewhere, or 2,800, sorry. About 2,800 calories per day on my low day. That is my low day. My medium day, I usually lose weight on anything. Once I get below 3,500 calories, I start losing weight. That's kind of where my BMR is at. My medium days, which are all my training days, that's the majority of my days a week. 5 days per week, with the exception of 1 leg day, which will be a high day. Those I'm doing 310 grams of protein, 400 grams of carbs, 28 grams of fat, 28, 40, so that is 3,100 calories on those days. So you can see I'm running about a 400 or 500 calorie deficit on all those days. So roughly so I should lose, in theory, about a pound of fat over the next week. I get 1 high day per week. That is on a leg day. On that day, we're going to keep the fats as close to 0 as humanly possible. There is an optional cheat meal at the end of that day. I do not take cheat meals when I'm on contest prep. Psychologically, cheat meals just fuck with me. Some people can handle them. Some people are just fine. If I have a cheat meal, I'm just like, fuck this. I'm going to have cheat meals 24/7. So I just don't have a cheat meal. I might have 1 or 2 towards the end of prep. But mentally, cheat meals are not good for me. I know that. So I stay away from them. It does me better to just get in a groove of eating like a fucking Spartan and just sticking to that through the whole thing. So high days, 250 grams of protein. We eat a tad bit less protein because carbs are protein sparing. You don't need as many carbs. 850 grams of carbs, as close to 0 grams of fat as humanly possible. That is a total of 4,400 calories on the high day. Since I'm not doing a cheat meal, it's probably less calories than what I'm eating right now. I'm probably eating somewhere around 5,500 on a high day, I'm guessing. And I'm doing 2 of them a week right now, so we're going to cut them down to 1 per week. So in theory, I should have a deficit that is enough to lose about a pound of fat per week right now. That deficit will get ratcheted up as we go. Current training, I'm doing my same old routine. I have another video up about my training protocol, my high volume training protocol, if you want to check that out. It's push, legs, pull off. The rep scheme is 12 reps on all compound movements, 15 to 20 on isolation, a couple reps in reserve on everything. Volume, we'll push the volume up from minimum effective volume to MRV over the next 6 weeks, probably 5 weeks, and then I'll take a deload. But we're really going to start ratcheting the volume up. I'm going to push the volume up as high as I can to help with calorie burning and for hypertrophy. Cardio currently is 12 minutes of HIIT 4 times per week. Post-workout, that would not be on non-leg days. So on the push and the pull days, post-workout, I will do 12 minutes of HIIT cardio. And for my HIIT cardio, I usually use, I know people are going to frown at this, but I got fucked up knees. It's the only thing I can do. Honestly, ideally, you should probably be using the step mill, but I use the elliptical. I will go as hard as I can for 40 seconds, hard as I can for 20 seconds, and then coast, just kind of a casual pace for 40 seconds. And do that for 12 minutes. 40-20, 40-20, 40-20. Shoulder, I'm sticking with, because of my shoulder injury, I'm going to stick with using machines for shoulders, stay away from pull-ups. Narrow grip pull-downs seem to be fine, so I will use those instead of any kind of wide grip pull-downs. My back is probably my strongest body part anyway, so I'm not too worried about losing anything there. As long as I just keep some stimulation, I think I'm good to go on the back. I already mentioned the cardio. I've got it on here twice. That's how much I love doing cardio. Plans, contest prep for 16 weeks. Be ready for the show. Get blood 6 to 4 weeks out. I usually get my blood work done usually about 4 to 6 weeks out, just to kind of see where I'm at, how fucked up I am. Usually at that point, blood work is better, weirdly enough, and then it goes downhill the last 4 weeks, probably because of the orals and anti-estrogen. You're pushing anti-estrogens up high. I'm going to push that shoulder surgery off to the fall, as I mentioned. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. If you got questions, please put them in the comments section below. If you want to get in contact with me, email is really the best way to get in contact with me. So email me at bigp3rd@gmail.com. And give me a follow on Instagram if you want to keep up to date. I'll post pictures and videos and stuff up for my posing practice as I go through contest prep. Take care, guys.